Go. Hey, hi, very good evening once again in the last show of Bhautik Digitally Yours. And yes, good afternoon there in America. Guys, this is the seventh and last talk show of Bhautik Digitally Yours. Thank you so much for joining me throughout this season. And guys, like today we have Marc Guberti with us. Hi, Marc.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. So, Marc, see, as we were discussing just before going live, that is already 10:30 in India, and you see people are still waiting for you. And believe me, guys, that if I'm going to read the achievements of the Marc, he's only 20. And let me go through some of his achievements. He is a digital marketing expert with over 4 lakh social media followers, and it definitely is more than that, and over 80,000 students who have given his course a try. Guys, he's already running 24 different courses on Udemy. So if you want to learn something from him, you can definitely go on Udemy, and there are more than 24 courses available. He's the author of so many books. He has, I think, written around 19 books, that is with the Kindle edition, and it is available on Amazon.com. And there are as many as more than 3 paperback books also. So these are something at the age of 20, guys. And you know what? He started writing blogs at the age of 11. So from last 9 years, he is writing the blogs. He is studying in the university. His majors are marketing and finance. And he is a consultant over there, and he is helping so many businesses to grow. And his objective, his vision is very much clear. He believes that teenagers should not wait to turn up 18 years, and they should start. If they're dreaming, they can start their own business. So, Marc, I think that is fascinating for me and so many of the viewers. Definitely, there are viewers who are going to join us tomorrow. Maybe not live. Obviously, they are not going to join us live. But lately, when in the morning they are going to see this video, they'll be so much happy to listen to you.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to that.
That's so good. So, Marc, I think we have discussed this, but my audience want to know that when did you first realize the use of Twitter for engagement and conversion?
When I first used Twitter, it was initially to spread the word about one of my blogs, which was about the Boston Red Sox, a MLB team. And when I when I saw traffic coming to that blog, I just fell in love with the whole social media concept. That's what eventually resulted in me taking Twitter really seriously. But I really saw the potential with Twitter when I would share something and I would get interaction. Like, it's all about sharing valuable content. And when people were engaging with me, I would engage back with them. Meaningful relationships are being built. It's not just like you have this megaphone and you're sharing it. Like, you're actually you're getting people to reply to your content. You're getting people to interact with you. And as I continue to provide more value and mix things up based on what my audience wanted, I was able to construct a good free offer for them. I promote that frequently throughout the day on Twitter, and that's how I'm able to get the engagement down, for like the conversion down. And once you get people to that free offer and onto your email list, which is like the most valuable asset you can have, that's when the email autoresponder takes place and brings in the sales.
Marc, so many times we discuss among the fraternity that to collect the email is one of the most important tasks for any digital marketer. But at the same time, when you want to collect the emails, you need to give something in the return, right? So when you are bringing people on your landing page, you have to give the value. So in the process of this, the most challenging part for most of the businesses or for most of the marketer is what kind of content to create which can give the value to the user, and hence they will give us the email. So what exactly you do to collect the email? What kind of content you create?
That's a really good question. And first, I would say figure out what the content's going to be about. So for me, I saw a lot of people were engaging with my tweets about like getting more Twitter followers, getting blog traffic from Twitter. So I created a free ebook, 27 ways to get more retweets on Twitter. And before I did that, like, I had to identify, okay, I have to create something on Twitter. I just happen to choose to write an ebook. Some people may prefer to do a video series where you do like 3 to 4 videos. Here's your video series on like how to achieve this objective. But you identify the topic first, And then you determine, am I going to do an ebook, a report, a video, an audio? So there are like many different ways to deliver on that topic, but you do have to figure out that topic first.
So does it mean that as a marketer, you need to focus more and more on creating this kind of content? So do you want to say that if you are a team of marketers, there has to be one person who will be expert in generating this kind of value added content for the user so that you can collect the emails?
Yes, you do have to create that content that has a lot of value for the user. And it's not just about creating content that's valuable. Like my definition of valuable is something valuable to the person. So for me, like an article about running is really valuable to me because I run like almost virtually every single day. While to someone else, it may not be as valuable because they're not running that often. So to apply this in a more business sense, one of the things I do on Twitter is I look at the Twitter analytics and I see which of my tweets are getting the most engagement. And I've seen content marketing getting a lot more engagement, which is why I'm creating more content marketing based blog posts, videos, and podcast episodes, because I see that my audience wants more of that based on the engagement. Like anytime someone retweets or likes you or engage with your posts, that's a vote. And the more of that you get, the more interest there is around those topics. And while, yes, like I still create a lot of Twitter-based stuff as well, I'm focusing more in on the content marketing because right now, that's what my audience wants more of.
Absolutely. Great. So, Marc, when we talk about the Twitter, here in India, we normally talk about Facebook. And believe me that people are going crazy behind the Facebook. Everybody's running behind it, whether it's a paid advertisements or organic connection or organic engagement. Because you know that the frequency, managing the frequency on the Facebook is so easy for everybody. But when it comes to Twitter, we need to understand that the frequency of the tweets is much higher. So what should be the ideal frequency of the tweets for normally any business, or what kind of tweets during that frequency you need to do?
Well, it definitely depends on the business. On Twitter, it's definitely more than on another social network. So what I currently do, I do like way more than most people. Like I'll do like a tweet every 15 minutes because based on my niche, like there's like I just provide evergreen content that people can get, whether it's videos or blog posts, podcasts that will still be useful 2 years later from the day that I publish it. So I tweet that in a continuous cycle. I actually use a tool called Viral Tag to automate the tweeting, because by automating the tweeting, I spend more time interacting. But for a business, like I'd recommend, I mean, at the very minimum, 4 times per day. But in my experience, as you tweet more often, you're going to get more engagement. So the only thing I would say is, are you a business that produces like evergreen content, things that will continue to be useful as time comes by? Or are you like maybe a news-based business, for instance, where like yesterday's news is not going to be very valuable like 2 weeks from now because everyone knows about that. So it depends on the life you can get out of the content you produce, because like to craft like 100 tweets a day, like actually crafting 100 unique tweets a day that you haven't tweeted before is really hard. But for me, it's much easier because I have a lot of tweets in a queue that come out one after the other.
So do you mean that, see, now again, you can engage people with the valuable content, but again, let us assume that there are people who cannot generate those remarkable content each and every time, but still they want to tweet. They will tweet some about some blogs of the other publishers, or they can tweet about their sales content. So is there any other way to engage people on Twitter if you do not have anything to offer like audio or ebooks?
The other way that you can engage with people is to jump into other conversations. So one of the things that happens a lot on Twitter is they'll do like a chat. So like let's say hashtag content marketing chat. Like there are a lot of different chats available, and you can join those chats to interact with like-minded people. And if a chat isn't available right now, then just look at the influencers in your niche who are in that same topic. You engage with their tweets, and you engage with the people who engage with their tweets. So you're connecting with their audiences and being able to strengthen the relationships. I mean, on social media in general, like relationship is that key word. So being able to interact with people and reply to people's tweets, even if like you have to do the work to find the tweets and reply to people, that's going to help you build a lot of relationships.
So, Marc, is there any way to, like, for an example, if I want to use some storytelling activities and if I really want to do some growth hacking on Twitter, so is there any way that how should I start doing the storytelling, and how can I do some growth hacking on Twitter?
I have two different recommendations for that. The first thing is you could use Twitter to promote like a blog post or a video or an episode where you're telling part of the story, where you give them this content and you say, check in tomorrow, same place for this content. So that's one of the ways that you could do it. If you want to do it directly on Twitter, like let's say no blog, no anything, just Twitter, you could send out a series of tweets and you could say like, we'll have more tweets on this story like later, or see what happens if it's like some thriller. I mean, I would prefer doing like promoting a blog post to do it in that format, but you could definitely do it on Twitter where you send out a few tweets that are connected and based on some type of storyline or based on giving you a bunch of insights.
Yeah. So Marc, is there any difference? Like now, if I'm doing this, I'm making some strategy for my company. I have two different social media. One is Twitter and another is Facebook. So how can I keep both the things different when it's come to the storytelling? Because the major difference between Twitter and Facebook is the frequency of the post and the tweets. So can I differentiate my strategy for the storytelling for Twitter and Facebook, or can I go with the same strategy for both the platforms?
The one thing with Facebook is that you have a lot more characters to play with. So you could go full in depth on like something that happened that it's not like what I ate for breakfast, but something that has that ability to like it's based on your niche. So like I've seen a lot more people on Facebook where they'll tell stories about their businesses, where like they'll say like something that happened to them, something that didn't go right, something that went right. So they use Facebook I see more people using it for a deeper storytelling that you can't find in blog posts or videos or things like that. So I see people using more for that for like character development, where people get to see highs and lows of this individual. So Facebook, you can go deeper since there's no character length. Twitter, I would recommend just driving people to outside content while continuing to provide value on Twitter so people know to go back to your tweets.
Right. Okay. Marc, is there any, if I want to use the sales funnel, because sales funnel is what every salesperson is looking, because we understand that digital marketing somewhere different than the digital sales. So when we talk about the numbers, when we talk about the return on investment, we have to go through the sales funnel. So what's your take on sales funnel to use on Twitter? How can we define that sales funnel, or how can we create the kind of sales funnel on Twitter?
Sales funnels are definitely very important. They are the that's how you are able to get people to buy your products, and obviously you need the money to keep your business going. But Twitter itself is not a sales funnel. What you do there is you promote some free offer to get people on your email list. Like that's the idea with Twitter. You lead people off of Twitter while maintaining the value so people check your tweets, but you lead people off to like your blog, video, podcast, because at some point people are going to read enough content on those places that they're going to see this free offer. In my case, ebook, they're going to subscribe and grab that offer. And then what's going to happen is you need to have some emails in place. That's where the funnel takes place. It's like ConvertKit or Aweber or iContact, or whichever one you prefer. There's many email solutions out there. But you lead people from social media, and not just Twitter, but social media in general, to your email list. And within your email list, that's where the sales funnel happens.
Okay, so Marc, do you use list and moments efficiently, or is there any role of list and moments if I need to engage people, or if I need to get some import, I do not want to miss any tweets from the important people. So what's your take on list and moments?
I strongly recommend lists because that's obviously like it's a feed based on the important people who are important to you. So like I do this with people in my niche. So when I go on this list, I only see things that are going to help me expand my knowledge, because on Twitter you could get such a stream of tweets where the tweet posted 2 minutes ago is you're never going to find that thing. You're going to have to scroll forever just to find it. I can say this for myself because I follow a lot more people than most people follow. But definitely lists allow you to just create customized Twitter feeds based on specific interests you have. So you could have one feed for Facebook marketing advice. You could have one feed for Twitter marketing advice. You could have one feed of potential prospects that you see based on what they're tweeting and based on who they're following. So I recommend lists. Moments are, I haven't used moments from a business standpoint yet, but I do see the power of them. I mean, they are highly engaging when they the moments that Twitter provides you, they're very engaging.
Right. Okay. Marc, let us come on the very, very famous and very hot topic of Twitter, that is the use of the hashtags. So now normally you see two type of people who are using hashtags on the Twitter. You see people who are normally don't use hashtag at all, and you see people who stuff the hashtag like anything. They just reach out to the limit of tweets and they reach out to 280 characters by putting hashtags. So how to use hashtag? I mean, what to consider while you are writing the tweets, and how to use the hashtag so efficiently so that even you can get more and more people to engage with your tweets?
I recommend using 1 to 3 hashtags per tweet, because the hashtags are powerful, but if you use too many of them, it makes your tweet hard to read. And some people could click on the wrong link. So instead of clicking on the link to your blog or your other content, they could click on the link to the hashtag. And the reason hashtags are so powerful is because, let's say I use the hashtag content marketing. When you click on that hashtag, you get to see a bunch of tweets that recently used that hashtag. So when someone else tweets that hashtag content marketing, and you continue tweeting with that hashtag, what's going to happen is when someone clicks on that hashtag from the other person, they're going to see the list of all the hashtags, and you are going to pop up because you've used the hashtag. So I'd recommend using commonly used hashtags within your niche and using them often, because again, when people click on that hashtag link in other people's tweets, that will lead to the list of tweets using that hashtag, and yours will show up. So that's why hashtags are important. But if you use too many of them, it makes a tweet harder to read and not as enjoyable of an experience.
Absolutely. And we normally see this kind of people who make the Twitter horrible for all of us. Okay, Marc, we have a question coming because Shruti is asking that she wants to know something related with she wants to know, she wants some free tools to test trending hashtags in different locations. So do you suggest any tools if you want to understand the trending hashtag? For an example, India is a vast country. So whatever hashtags maybe are using in the western part of India, the same hashtag could not be available, or they cannot be in the trend in the northern or southern part of the India. So do you suggest a tool to identify the trending hashtags?
I know that Twitter has an advanced search feature where you can see how certain hashtags and words and phrases are performing within any location. So you can see people tweeting this word or this phrase or this hashtag from a particular location. So that would be my recommendation for finding these different hashtags and phrases and how people are using them in different locations. I feel like there's a better tool available, but for this specific question, but the Twitter advanced search is going to give you a lot of capabilities for searching out some of these specific things that people in specific locations are saying.
So is there any other tool, forget about the location. So if you want to use any tool, third-party tool to identify the hashtag, so is there any suggestion for that also?
Just minus location, but the same capabilities.
Okay. So any tool, see, normally what happens that if we are the digital marketers, we normally go with the hashtag digital marketing, right? So because we understand, as you said, these are very common in our niche, and we go with the same thing. So but still I'm not aware that what other kind of hashtags can I use. So I have seen people have used third-party tools for the hashtag, like what we see when you do search engine optimization. You have the Google's tool, Google Keyword Planner. So that is very much reliable, but there is no as such tool given other than the advanced tweet search by the Twitter. So many people are relying on the third-party tool. So do you suggest that people should rely on the third-party tool?
If it's a third-party tool that helps you in the area that you need help in, it helps you gain leverage, then yes, I'd say use the third-party tool. I mean, social networks or any type of product, there are going to be like some holes in them, and the third-party tools can fix some of those holes, give people opportunities that they wouldn't have before just with the platform alone. So third-party tools, I mean, just pick the ones that you know are going to have the best impact on you. You don't want to use too many of them because then you've got like 50 different tools running and you don't know where to go to get the specific information you need. But I would recommend having a core group of third-party tools that you continue to check in on and continue to utilize.
All right. Okay. Marc, we are having another question. It is from Subhajit, because as I said that people are not so used to the Twitter, at least in this part of the world, India. So he wants to know that what would be your strategy to build your Twitter profile, who's a very newbie like him. He's a very newbie, although he's very much active on Facebook and Instagram, but he's very much newbie on Twitter. So what suggestion would you give to the person who is very, very new to Twitter and he wants to create a very good profile?
The first step that you do, you want to set up a foundation before you get the audience. And what I mean by that is just simply be able to consistently provide valuable content. You don't need like thousands of tweets. You don't even need like 10 tweets. You just need to ensure that you could consistently provide new valuable content to your audience every single day. When I say new valuable content, that could also be like you tweeting something of a blog post you wrote 2 years ago that still is valuable. So once you get that consistency down, look around for people in your niche who have these big audiences and engage with their followers. I like to, for instance, follow people who are following like other digital marketers who are really successful. And that allows me to tap into their audiences and provide their audiences with more value. So the reason that I like this method is because you're following people who are already interested in your topic, so they're likely to follow you back. It's not like a follow for follow where you're just blindly hoping that the person is interested, and like anyone like doing like hashtag follow for follow, they care more about their number than the engagement. So that's why like I prefer the method where you find influencers in your niche and you follow their people and you meaningfully engage with them and provide that value. That's my best recommendation for and best strategy for growing on Twitter.
That's wonderful. Okay, Marc, let us talk about the relationship between the search engine and Twitter. Now, this is a very unexplored topic. Normally, nobody speaks about that, but we know that Twitter is very much search engine friendly social media rather compared to Facebook. So when we talk about the search engine optimization, and if you are looking to get your brand coming on the search engine other than your website through Twitter, so what things you need to take care if you really want your Twitter profile to come on the search engine, like Google?
The Twitter profile in particular, I mean, I would focus more on the Twitter optimization in there than the search engine optimization when it comes to just getting your Twitter profile to show up. Because when people use a keyword like, let's say, social media marketing, a lot of articles are going to dominate in that category. And I feel like people who search keywords like that, they're going to want a solution now. They're not going to want to go to someone's Twitter account right away. So like when you see like, let's say, for instance, the search is, how do I get more blog traffic from Twitter? They're going to read the how do I get more blog traffic from Twitter article instead of seeing my Twitter account because they get the solution quicker. So I would recommend focusing on the Twitter search. So if you include keywords in your bio, like digital marketing expert, for instance, when people search on Twitter, digital marketing expert, I am more likely to pop up due to all the engagement that I've built.
Okay, great. Okay, Marc, continuation with the previous question, what you have got from Subhajit. So you talked about that you need to follow those people who are following the other industry leaders. So normally what we see on the Instagram, there's a concept called follow unfollow. So that when you are following so many people and when they started getting following you, you can go and unfollow them. So do you think that on the Twitter, that is a very good strategy, follow unfollow?
I would do that with caution. So my recommendation for that is I'll unfollow people who like haven't followed me for a while. I usually wait for like at least a month because some people like it takes a little longer for some people to follow than others. You also don't want to just like unfollow all the time because that's going to raise some red flags. So I make sure that I'm not like unfollowing like people who I followed yesterday. So you only want to make sure you're unfollowing people who have like, they have not expressed an interest. Like you've tried to you waited for it and it just didn't happen. And the reason it's important to unfollow these people is because on certain social networks, like you have a limit to how many people you can follow. And if you're following people who aren't following you back for very long, that limits your ability to reach out to more people, which is why it's necessary to do something like that. If that's your game on Twitter, that's certainly how I do it because it definitely works for me to engage with all these people who are following other industry leaders. I strongly recommend also sharing all this valuable content though, because
absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's something that comes up. I know it's something I say over and over, but it's one of those things that like, that's got to stick with you. Like just sharing that content and making sure it's something the people enjoy.
Okay, Marc, before we go to the final few minutes, very last question from my side, and definitely I want to ask you something about your current ebook, which you would like to share with the people. So let us talk about the pure business now on the Twitter. So we are sitting with the pen and paper, and I want to start strategizing to get maximum conversion through Twitter. Obviously, I have some valuable content to offer to the people. How do I start? How can I strategize so that I can generate the conversions?
Okay, so we have the valuable content. We're leading people to a free offer. We're getting them to subscribe. Then a lot of the focus on getting the conversion, the person to buy, that is the autoresponder. Because people don't go on social media to buy things. They go on social media to interact with friends, maybe learn new things by reading articles that pop up on their custom feed that they created through a list. But people don't come on social media to buy. But if you get them to see that content, they go to the free offer, and in the email list, that's when they're going to buy. So in the email list, you need to do a few free value emails first because you still have to build the trust. You got to get people to know, like, and trust you. If you get them in your emails, they definitely know and like you. They may even be at the trusting stage, but you've typically provide like 3 free value emails just of like a blog post you wrote or a video, and then you promote the product. And the key thing with the free content is that it's very connected with the product and you're busting some myths. So let's say you're promoting a training course on writing a good book. One of the free things you promote, video, blog posts, just content in general, is something like how to write a book even if you feel like you don't have enough time. So if people who they come to this, they say, oh, I don't have enough time to write a book. Why would I even bother with this course? Well, you just read the blog post a few days ago about how you can do it even if you don't have enough time. So you write these blog posts or create these videos in mind where I know what product I'm going to promote. What are some of the possible objections that people would have? And let me see how many of them I could bust through within within this free content.
Absolutely. Marc, do you recommend paid advertisements on Twitter?
Right now, the way I see it, Facebook ads are the most effective of all the social networks. I recommend Twitter more for growing at an organic point and developing relationships where you're easily able to jump into conversations and other people are able to interact with you based on the content that you provide.
Absolutely. Wonderful. So the last question, Marc, from the audience, and then please go with your available ebooks to download. So Subhajit, once again, he has a question for you. He wants to know regarding, he says that great point on visitor behavior. List building is the key. I am using ConvertKit. What are your picks on autoresponders? So do you recommend some autoresponders?
I mean, autoresponders are really important because they do build that relationship. They allow you to provide that free content. And within my autoresponders, I do include, it's not too many pictures because the risk with including a picture is that sometimes it doesn't load properly or it takes the email a little longer to load. But one of the things I'll do is I'll load pictures of myself, because when people it's like if you send emails to someone, like just the written word, that helps out with the trust. But adding pictures of yourself where like appropriate can like boost the trust. So like I have a picture of myself, like I'm running on like some trail and like I almost got lost on it. And I talk about that story, and the picture that I have helps to create that image in someone's mind, because the human mind registers images 60,000 times faster than the text. But when people, it's just a way to build trust when you include that. It's not like your business picture. It's just like some picture of you and maybe a casual setting, talking about what's happening in this picture, or maybe you just spoke at an event and you want to include a picture of that and say like what you talked about and things like that. It just builds the relationship. And you could also include like if you're promoting a product, a picture of the product, that also works really well. My recommendation, though, I would lean against including a picture in every single email or stacking emails with pictures, because again, that could make it longer to load.
Absolutely. Marc, like recently we had seen some algorithmic changes on the Twitter, and the autoresponders, or you can say auto tweets tool, the third-party tool, they're getting a little bit the lesser weightage. So what's your take on that?
Can you repeat that question again?
The Twitter has come out with the different algorithm. They've made some changes on the algorithm. So like there are some auto tweet tools which tweets on behalf of you. So according to this change, now these tools, if you are using this kind of tools, then you might not get the kind of engagement which you are getting before. So do you have any idea about that?
The thing with social networks is they're all going to come out with algorithm changes. I mean, like, I will go into the Twitter, but like for Facebook, for instance, you saw the algorithm change where like a very small amount of people are organically seeing the post, and you need to pay to boost those posts. Now, like live video and video, those seem to be doing a lot better, especially from like the ad point where like you could probably get like a penny per view. I think some of these videos are doing, while it's much harder to do that with any other type of content. So the algorithms are constantly changing, but the same advice for all of them is get people on your email list, because you don't know if Twitter changes the algorithm tomorrow and now all of a sudden like 1% or like even 0.5% of people are seeing your content. I mean, that is something that social networks have the power to do. You are like the algorithm change. Like you can't just like say we want it back to we want 100% of the people seeing our content. Like you are subject to the algorithm. But if you get people to your email list, especially while the algorithm's looking good, you own that audience. And even so basically you own that audience.
Absolutely. So basically, at the end of the day, you are talking with a human, no matter what kind of algorithm are changing, and you have to believe that human will understand the value of the content. Wonderful, Marc. So guys, here is the link I have shared already. I took it from the Marc's website, so I'm not giving him any chance to submit the link. I'm right. I think this is the correct link, right, Marc? Wonderful. So Marc, please go ahead with this ebook. Like this is a free ebook, guys. So you can download this ebook. And Marc, you please go ahead with your ebook. Like, why should people download it?
Well, In all my experience with Twitter and growing my audience, I came up with a list of 27 ways to get more retweets on Twitter. And these are the same methods that I use to get over 100 retweets every single day. And that number has been growing since then. I think it could be like 200 per day now. Like, you don't see it in individual tweets, but when you spread it all out, like, that's how many retweets I'm getting in a given day. So I put all my insights into the book on how you're able to get those retweets, because getting these retweets basically puts your content in front of new audiences, which will allow you to grow faster on Twitter.
Absolutely. So guys, I have already downloaded it, and believe me, I am in the Marcs database or the email. I am already getting so many emails from his side, and it's not at all spam, that is not at all junk. It's a pure value-based content, and that is the reason I loved him. I loved him a lot. And from last, I think, couple of weeks, I'm following him just to say yes from his side that yes, he's going to join in this live session. And thank you so much, Marc, for joining with us. And I believe that, as I said earlier before starting this live session, that now henceforth you are going to get so many Indian followers. This is what I believe. And yes, Indians, they would like to listen to you so more often. So try to get connected with these Indian audiences, and let us hope that after a few years, maybe you will be visiting India just for your conference or seminar.
That's exciting. That's something that I'll definitely think about.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Marc, and thank you once again. Thank you, guys, everybody over there, for listening to us. It's already 11 p.m. here in India. It's 11 night, but there are so many people who are already watching us. And guys, if you are going to see the repeat telecast of this, not live, so even if you have any question, you can go and connect to Marc Guberti on his Twitter. You can send a direct message to him. You can go on his blog, the website, or the link I've already capped in the comment section. You can go and you can ask the question to Marc over there as well. And I'm sure Marc is going to answer the questions.
Definitely.
Thank you, Marc, and all the best for all your endeavors, whatever you are going to do. And maybe later or sooner, we are going to come back here with the new topic again in the live session.
It was a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Bye.